Hello from Australia. It's Friday, the 18th of September, and I'm coming to you from the quite majestic park near the Southport Yacht Club on the Gold Coast in Queensland. I'm going to read a little bit from my memoir today, as I promised last week, and what I hope to be able to do once I've read that section is to explain to you about resilience and experience and why it's so important that the two are recognised as interdependent. But firstly, I want to introduce again my memoir, which is The Peace Angel, and it was published in 2014 and again in 2015, and under my company's publishing rights. And I'm really happy with this particular representation of my life. It's fairly sanitized for obvious reasons. There is a lot of trauma in my life which I've chosen not to express as deeply in the published version, and that's largely to keep anonymity for folks that don't necessarily want truths to emerge, but also to, the Peace Angel was never intended to be a book that was a negative book. It was meant to be a representation of my life and, the things that I've achieved and the things that I've learned as the first, almost third of my life. Our biological potential is 135 at least. I'm 63, so in reality, I don't even see myself as middle-aged. I was talking to a friend in the US this morning, and I said to her, I don't even feel like, a 63 years young person should feel. I fully anticipate that I will live way beyond 100, and I would love to think that I could live to my biological potential and stay healthy to that end. But if God is willing, then that's what will happen. And I trust that I always maintain my mental acuity, and that's what I work hard to do. I eat well, sleep well, and don't do anything to excess. In the preface of my autobiography, I introduce myself, and be mindful that in this book I'm very judgmental of myself and pretty harsh on myself, and I'm also pretty straightforward in how I've assessed certain circumstances and people involved in my life. So, people have to read it with that understanding. And so in my introduction of myself, I talk about holistically, and this is up to, age 54, 55, how I felt about my life. When I think about my life in total, a few simple yet powerful words come to mind. Amazing, creative, fabulous, great, moving, and motivating. If I had not lived, I would certainly have been spared some immensely painful and soul-destroying experiences. Yet I would not have come to know the journey of loving others unconditionally and the soul-nurturing power of total forgiveness, about working hard for what I want and need and seeing rewards for my efforts many times over. The pleasure of gaining unexpected public recognition for the philanthropic work I did quietly and without fanfare since age 10. And that God does exist, that things happen in the right sequence and for a reason, and that I am just one person in the bigger picture of humanity's journey. This week, and yesterday in particular, I was explaining to my friend, I was so full of unhappiness in my head about a situation that I felt was going along really well, and then all of a sudden it just crashed down around my ears. And I was so unhappy. What I did was I went to sleep, And by going to sleep, I was able to exfoliate a lot of the thoughts that were causing me to feel unhappy. And when I reflect on that today, I woke up feeling absolutely fantastic, had a really peaceful night's sleep. And when I reflect on how I felt yesterday, the thing that comes to mind is resilience. And you've heard me talk about the fact that I do not tolerate negative thinking for very long. Well, that's so true. So the me of yesterday, whilst I was really disappointed, I wasn't necessarily negative, but I was very much in risk management and judgment mode in that respect. But I wasn't negative. I was just really unhappy, really sad about a situation. And all I needed to do was to sleep well, eat well, sleep well, get lots of water, and wake up this morning feeling absolutely fantastic. So no matter what happens today, I will still feel happy ongoing. And that's about the link between experience and resilience. And you've got to have experiences in order to be able to develop resilience. You've got to couple that with a positive mindset, because if you continually live in the negative and you continually see the bad in everything, it actually sucks you back down into a really bad hole. So you're not standing in the light when you're being negative about stuff ongoing. But you've got to experience things and then learn from those experiences, apply the learnings, and make a decision. How am I going to use this intelligence, which is what it is, ongoing, to make improvements in my life so that I don't repeat the same mistake and that hopefully the same scenario won't repeat in the future. And that's what I talk about later in my other books. And when I read a bit more from my autobiography next week, I'm going to focus on choices that we make. And choices, as you know, is something I've been bringing up just about every session. The choices that we make determine our destiny. If we make wrong choices at a particular point in time, we may not know that they were wrong until many years later. But when we do realize that the choices were wrong, we can learn, we can apply the learnings and say, well, we're not going to repeat that same mistake. But if the choices that we make are the right choices, then that will take us down a path that will bring us lots and lots of rewards. If the choice we make is a not so good choice, then that takes us down a path that doesn't bring the same level of reward. I'm being rained on by a beautiful eucalypt tree, and I apologise if I end up with stuff all over me, but it's just dropped a lot of seeds, this gorgeous tree that I'm under. The choices that we make are so critical to the quality of the resilience that we develop. I want you to think about that. The choices that we make are so critical to the quality of the resilience that we develop. We will not be as resilient if the choices that we make are not discerning and are not risk management based, and they're not based on fact. You cannot make good choices based on assumptions, based on airy-fairy ideas that have never been proven. You need to make choices based on what you know is fact at the time. Maybe tomorrow there's new facts. Your choice may be different. But every choice that you make needs to be a quality choice. And the learnings that come from those choices are what will almost like inject into your resilience bank account. So when you're born with a level of resilience that's common to every human being. You then build on that resilience bank and you develop resilience for life by adding and choosing to add learnings based on your experiences. And it's almost like you develop a repertoire of coping skills. And that repertoire needs to be so strong that no matter what the big hits that come in from outside or the internal messages that you may give yourself that aren't so great from time to time, that your level of resilience won't be impacted adversely, that you're sort of like a bit of have a suit of armour, and that you grow the strength of that suit of armour as your life progresses. I hope that the next week coming is fantastic. I'm going to collect a few leaves while I'm here. They're fantastic for doing painting and screen printing. I will be back with you again next week, and I hope that you have the opportunity to buy the Peace Angel. It's available online. Ingram is the distributor for it through all different channels, and also available from our website, serenidadconsulting.com. Please like and subscribe. Please make comments. Please give us feedback through our website if you wish. I look forward to seeing you again. Bye for now.